Welcome to Project Pack number 12, day 8. My name is Rick.
Day 8. Hi, I'm Maria. And a little while ago, Molly came to me and she said, Mom, we've already designed the packs, and each person gets two pre-strung
Pre-strung,
Zendalas,
right?
and everybody gets different ones. And she said, Mom, you got to design a tile that can go on any one of them. And I said,
Challenge,
okay,
right?
I'll take the challenge. So I spent a couple of days, thinking this through until I was watching an old video that we had done, and Rick saying something like, and a string is one of those things that you can use it or completely ignore it.
Yeah,
And that, I'm thinking, I know what I'm going to do.
I'll ignore the string.
I'm going to completely ignore the string and do a border. So I'm setting this up where I took one of the tortillons, and I'm going to mark it like that. And just to show you how big that mark is, approximately. It doesn't
It's,
have to
it's
be exactly.
approximately one barcode.
It's one barcode. Okay, so that's my marking device, and and you could actually wing it too, but depending on how precise you want to be.
Right.
So I'm going to show you how to use this marking device. So we're going to put it to the edge right there, and just give it a little shout and whirl that puppy around until we got enough marks to draw a nice circle, orb, border line, anything that you'd like to
Right.
call it.
And it's sort of like you don't have to do it. It's just like a marker, so you know, like, okay, this
Right.
is roughly where, and
Roughly,
fill in the
yeah.
spaces, yeah.
So then I'm going to go and join those markings.
And you end up with an orb within an orb.
Right.
And all of the tangles on our Zendala pre-strung, or actually all of our pre-strung tiles, are hand-drawn.
Right.
They might look like they're mechanical, but if you
But
look at them really
no,
closely,
I
they're
drew
just,
them all by hand.
yeah.
So now we're going to do this thing again, only make it a smaller border. So not quite half, but around there.
Looks almost an intuitive phi there
Yeah.
on one end, anyway. So it's like an aid. You could probably do this without just eyeballing it, and that's fine. But we just wanted to give you some more options
More
of ways
tool
to
for the
yeah,
toolbox.
tools,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
or showing you've already got tools in your toolbox,
Right, right.
and we've just discovered a whole unit of measure.
A tortillon.
No, the barcode.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. So I'm going to go start here with my brown micron, my favorite pen in the world. And we're going to do a zigzag all the way around. And so the way I want you to do this is to work at the bottom so that you can see you're always sort of making the same specific mark so that
And
it
and
doesn't
sort
go
of
too out of whack.
pointing to the center on the
Right.
apex there.
Pointing to the center. And if it doesn't come out quite, watch this. See, it's not exactly. But nobody is going to be able to tell.
Right.
So don't worry about that. Now we're going to extend it up and in. And this is easy. Easy
Right.
peasy, right?
Just meeting those points.
I found this to be very meditative as I worked in the same spot the entire time, almost like a conveyor belt, I was almost like a printing press. It was on
Like in those old cartoons, right?
right, right. I'm gonna go over this circle.
Sort of restating that line. And that's one of the things you can do with strings is you can, ignore them or you can emphasize them.
Right. So I decided that I could put this on any one of those
Yeah.
pre-strung, and then
Apparently, yeah.
right, right. So again, I'm going to aura the insides of these diamond shapes. And you can see I'm working toward at the bottom here so that my hand is pretty much in the same spot all the time. And I'm going to turn, I hope, each time.
Well,
And I'm going to
your
coffering
yeah,
these. It just gives it another little detail that I just love.
I think it's from
It's a,
your picture framing days, right?
right, it's like a recessed frame.
Yeah, and you did indeed turn it. And just lovingly and deliberately making all of those marks, and they're all somewhat, they all have the same character, and we often say this, like, the regularity of the irregular line, but
Right.
it's all the same feel and texture. But if you were to pick out any one of those lines, it's not a very perfectly straight one, and if it is, that would be the exception probably.
And you can see that some of these diamond shapes are not like the others, which I kind of like that.
Right.
I like that about Zentangle, you know,
A-
and it just works its way around.
yeah.
I like the unevenness of life here. So in these top triangles that you see, I'm going to tethered aura to the corners and make sort of a, what would you call that shape? Like
Oh,
we had that,
there's a
there's
word for that.
a word, an
Yeah.
Irish something. Anyway, so we're going to go around and aura corner to corner, like a tethered aura,
I love that term.
and then pop a little pearl in there.
Whatever size fits, you'll be
So
able to do that.
this is one of the fragments that we have in our book for triangles.
And I love that now we're introducing curves within this very straight grid.
Right.
So you have this nice back and forth of curve and circle
Mm-hmm.
and straight. Looking nice.
Looks like the black pen, doesn't
I don't know.
it? Is it? No, it's brown.
Yeah. So still with the brown pen, but when you hold that layering as it soaks into the paper, it deepens the color. And that's such a beautiful contrast.
Mm.
So now we're adding solid sections from the line work.
So it looks like I'm doing the exact same thing, only in the diamond shape.
And ignoring, and just, ignoring that string that goes around it, or just, working with it. It's the beautiful part about strings is you can ignore it, you can combine them, and you can add some more if you ever need them, just
Right.
like Maria added on this pre-strung tile, just added more strings.
This way, everybody can follow along with us and not have to worry about
Mm-hmm.
which pattern that you had. So now we'll go into the black. Add some drama here. So inside this section that we just finished, we're going to add some a collection of black pearls or like it's almost like caviar. I love the
It's
the
like
concept.
tiny tipples.
Tiny tipples. So I can hear the song in the background, right? And kind of going over some of them. So it's dark, but it has light in it. So this is kind of an interesting fill. You can see that the black is there, but it's not so black, right?
And you can really pick up the contrast, subtle as it is, and then you see she's filling in the little gaps there as well. And again, that, like, do a section, rotate, do a section, rotate.
It's a ka-chunk, ka-chunk. It's like a little machine, right?
Right, like in the cartoons.
Like in the cartoons,
Right.
right? I love that.
But you get to decide how fast your conveyor belt goes here.
I'm trying to go really slow.
Right.
Oh, looks like I'm speeding up.
Right, because you've finished this the last one. right? I
That looks
like that.
pretty, right?
Yeah. Well, it's that, again, we keep saying it, or I keep saying it, that when you repeat a series of strokes across an area, it just develops its own pattern.
So we're going to add like some,
Well, it's starting out like crescent moon.
it's starting out like crescent moon, but it's going to be a moon pie.
Right.
Moon pie is a tangle that we created to go along
With Hollis.
with Hollis, right?
Right.
With Hollis. So this is adding some pretty good drama here. Coloring it in, adding a solid black.
Yeah, that really pops.
Mm-hmm. So I changed my position to the right-hand side over here because the lines, it would have been easier for me to draw those particular lines in that configuration as opposed to at the bottom.
Right. And you're drawing to the right of it as a right hand, so
Right.
your
So
pen
if you
is
were a
not
left
covering it.
hander, you would work on the other side.
Right. Because you can really see the point relative to whatever you're auraing. Very deliberately. Nice.
So now I'm adding a wider aura and another one.
So as you work with auraing has this variable that you can play with of how close or far you put the aura.
Mm-hmm. So far, it's still a version of crescent moon. Nothing's changed yet. All of these strokes are pretty simple. It's just by repeating
Right.
more and more different steps, you get a more complicated design. So I'm going back to my brown pen, I believe,
Yeah.
and we're adding some little sort of,
Like one strip of Knightsbridge.
yeah, a strip of Knightsbridge. But you can see I started in the middle instead of
Mm.
on either side, so you're going to get 3 of those little checkerboard shapes in. So do the middle and then 1 on each side.
So you can see Maria has shifted where she's working on the tile to the bottom. And not that you should do it the same way, but that you should, or we encourage you to experiment and see which way is most comfortable for you, both in relaxed hand or visualizing or being able to see what you're doing. Where you're sitting may change it. Like, are you doing it in your lap or at a desk?
Yeah, it's getting pretty fun here.
Right?
And some nice, good-sized orbs, right?
Right. So now we're getting into that sort of whimsical idea of crescent moon pie or of moon pie, because it's adding different layers or different forms as the aura. So we've almost got like an aura of Knightsbridge, an aura of Tipple,
And crescent moon.
and crescent moon.
Ah, look at that. That's
Nice,
fun.
right?
Looks like a really cool pie.
Right, or a compass rose almost, right?
Right. So now I'm not going to use a marking device, but we're going in with the black pen and we're going to put in another border. And another one of my favorite tangles is Duda. And it's so simple, but to me it's like, it's so simple, but when you at first look at it, you can't really figure out how to do it, you know?
Right.
It's kind of fun.
Well, it's like that, the dental or what's it called on woodwork?
Yeah, dental.
Right.
Like a dental work. You'd see it on like Victorian houses on the outside. It was called like dental work.
So we call it Duda from the song Zippity Duda, and
Yeah,
it looks like a zipper,
because
right?
it looks sort of like a zipper, right?
Nice. Great texture.
Mm. Now another real close aura, and these all have reasons for it. They're just a finishing type thing to kind of tie it together, hold it together.
And it also gives it some like identity from whatever tangle or might be placed next to it. It sets it off.
So this is that beautiful brown chalk pencil that from General Pencil, and we're going to be very aggressive on the outside. And I don't know if you can see that most of it is going right on the edge of the paper, and you can see the little bit of white from the side of the tile, but you want it to be pretty dark. And then when you go and soften it, you can see that it's just this beautiful mahogany
Right, right.
looking gorgeousness.
And you're using the broad side of your tortillon.
Right. I'm pretty aggressive here. There's nothing delicate about it here.
But you can really cover a lot of area, and it just smooths in so nicely.
Right.
Nice.
It's already warming up, right?
Right,
It's
yeah.
kind of coming together, warming up. I'm going to go in, sharpen my pencil.
So this is a little bijou tin that some of the bijou tiles come in. And
Makes a great
makes
station.
a great sharpening station.
Okay, so now I have a nice pointed pencil. And we're going to add gray to the that curved part just below the doodah.
And that really lifts that up, doesn't
Mm-hmm.
it?
And then you're going to shade one side of the inside of that diamond shape.
So we're using shading as part of the pattern itself,
Right.
because if you were to imagine something in a circle, well, these facets that are being shaded couldn't be the same all the way around. But since it's just part of the pattern, it works great. So we often just call it adding, shades of gray instead of adding shading, because we're looking at it as part of the pattern instead of
Yeah.
exactly what the light source would indicate. Although sometimes we do that too.
Right. So I'm going to prepare my brown pencil. And do the same thing. You might want to, I'm going pretty quickly here, but you can take your time adding some right over that gray that we just colored in. And we're going to soften that out into a different color brown because of the combination of the gray and brown.
So that's also a really neat technique to play with, is combining the graphite and the colored pencil.
Wow, that's so cool.
Right? I love that gentle shift.
Oh, look at this. Isn't that just the coolest thing?
Like all of a sudden it becomes glossy, right?
Right.
It's really amazing.
And
round.
and round
yeah.
and curved and
Just a simple little addition. Wow. And there are some places where it's, like that line is very crisp, and here it's almost a suggestion that you might not even notice right away, but
Right.
it has an effect. And since we've got gold,
yes, we're just going to add a little gold here.
so you get the concentration or the texture of the gold that you want.
Again, you can't see it that well on this photograph, but when you do it on your work, you'll see how cool it is to just brighten it up a little bit.
And depending on how, like how concentrated the gold is, sometimes in this case, you can see through it really beautifully. And then here, it's probably a little bit more concentrated and she's puddling it on. So it
Just be careful when you do this because it'll take, I don't know, half an hour to dry those little
right.
beads. Not long. It's a watercolor after all, and depending on how much heat is on in your
Right.
house.
And how humid or not it
Right.
is, right?
Isn't that cool?
Very cool.
Isn't that cool? So that's the tile. No, this is the first tile I did, and you can see we used the string in the middle. That's the string.
Right. So once you've put your border on, then you can go back and just play with whatever the string is in your particular pre-strung tile.
And we're going to leave that all up to you
Right.
to fill the middle to make it really yours,
Right.
and when you post them and look at everybody else's to see what they did with theirs, you can see the borders, but everybody was working with a different string in the middle.
And then just adding a little bit
The
of
little
from
dots, right? Aren't those
with
just
the
so
jelly roll.
sweet?
Yeah.
Isn't that sweet? Well, thank you so much for playing along with us. Oh, and this is one of my other prototypes, different one, a little bit different. You can see how these things grow as we do them.
Yeah. So thanks again for hanging out, and we'll see you soon.
See you later.
Bye now.
Bye.